Hello everyone, welcome to this location. This is the new apartment, or at least a small part of the new apartment I'm staying after my senior year of college. I have my little action figure display shelf. It's all kind of messy right now, like nothing's organized. I'm thinking about how I should organize, but I got a lot of stuff. Just can. So yeah, later on in other quick plays, this will look better. But yeah, I really want to talk about this new animated movie on Netflix from Sony Pictures Animation, Fix, directed by the legendary animator himself, Genndy Tartakovsky, who, if you don't know his work, then bruh, come on, what are you doing? Like, you should recognize his name. He's created shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, Primal, and he co-created Symbionic Titan. He directed the first 3 Hotel Transylvania movies. He also did Unicorn Warriors Eternals recently. He directed this movie, Fix, which has been like a passion project that he's been working on. Like, he developed the idea back in the early 2000s. It went through some behind the scenes trouble with the development. Like, originally it was gonna be released by this one studio, and then like they didn't release it, and then they couldn't find a distributor anywhere until Netflix. And the thing with this movie is that not only did it have like a little bit of a troubled release, it also had a trouble with how people have been responding about it. People knew of this movie and they were excited about it because Genndy Tartakovsky is amazing, and they wanted to see this release. And they were excited when it was announced it was going to be on Netflix. But then the first trailer came out and everyone was all like, ugh. Okay, maybe that was an extreme reaction. Most people just didn't like it. And like, this has been a whole back and forth, and the movie's release has been very divisive. Some people like it, some people don't. And there's also some people saying things that like I straight up just don't agree with. And I'm just going to talk about it. So anyway, here, Fixed. Let's talk about it. This movie is an R-rated 2D animated comedy directed by Genndy Tartakovsky. And this is like actual 2D, like a fully 2D animated movie. Like, a lot of us have been wanting to see it. And it's also an R-rated animated movie, which more people want to see more of those. Is that people thought like, oh hey, this is a good combo. 2D, R-rated, Genndy Tartakovsky, that's great. But the plot of the movie, let's talk about what the plot is. It's a raunchy comedy about a dog named Bull learns that he's going to get neutered in the morning. And so he and his friends have like one wild night of fun before that happens, and at the same time struggling with his feelings towards his neighbor dog Honey, who's like a show dog, and like he is in love with her but doesn't know how to say it. That is where a lot of the heart of the movie comes from, like his like romance with Honey. And a lot of the comedy comes from the ball jokes, and also just that these dogs are kind of horny freaks. When that was shown off in the trailer, which I'll admit, I did not like the trailer either, the first trailer, it just wasn't all that good. I'll get to the why later. Some people were all like, this is what the movie is? That's gross. Oh god, Genndy Tartakovsky is washed. And other people were all like, bro, how did you not know? That's how Genndy has been talking about it like online for like years now. I've been following the news about this movie for a long time, and I knew for a long time it was gonna be a raunchy R-rated comedy, so that's not the part that really upset me about the trailer. What upset me is just that I just didn't really think I found it all that funny. Like, the thing with raunchy comedy for me is that like, it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. It really depends on the execution, which I know that's probably for like all forms of comedy. I mean, like, I can laugh at a funny sexual innuendo or something like that, but like when it comes to jokes about like it actually being about sex, like seeing it, or like characters like just trying to be as sexual as possible, like it's like it doesn't always do it for me. That's kind of some of the jokes from like things like Has Been Hotel and Helluva Boss that I'm like, I mean, I don't hate it, but I could do without, you know? Like, I'm not a prude or anything. It's just more like, I don't know. I just don't personally find it the funniest. It really depends on how it's done. And from what I saw in the trailer, I just didn't look like my vibe. There was another trailer released around the same time that focused more on the actual story of it, and it was a bit better. I kind of think that should have been the trailer they released first. But hey, I was still gonna watch the movie regardless because hey, I've been looking forward to it. Genndy, I love his work, and I was gonna watch it. I wasn't going in thinking that it was gonna be an amazing movie, but I was hoping that it would be at least pretty fun. And I could say, yeah, it was pretty fun. The first thing that's good about this movie that should be obvious just from looking at it is that the animation is really good. Genndy Tartakovsky and his team always done good animation. Like, they just bring like so much like lively energy to the character designs and the actual movement of the characters. You can see this from their Cartoon Network shows, their Adult Swim shows, their movies like the Hotel Transylvania series, and here it is the same. I think the animation in this is really good. You know, you get a lot of great motion from all the characters, and I genuinely love the character designs for everyone. Like, character designs themselves, I think, are genuinely really good. They can be really goofy when they need to be, and they have nice silhouette shapes that you can like identify them easily. Like, I can look at these designs and go like, okay, yeah, I know what that's from. That's from Fix. Like, genuinely, the character designs overall are really good, and the animation is phenomenal. It's 2D animation, which a lot of us want to see more of in the realm of animated films, since we haven't had 2D animated movies a lot recently. So this is definitely really great to see. You got a lot of talented artists on this, just like, you know, working their butts off to make this like look really good, and it adds the humor in a lot of parts where you see some things and you hear what it is and it's like, oh, that's what they're gonna animate? That sounds dumb, I don't want to see that. But then you actually do see it, and most of the time in this movie it's genuinely really funny. Like there's something that happens at the very end of the movie, it's like the last gag of the film, and it's the way it's animated, it definitely adds to the comedy, and it should be something that I probably shouldn't find funny from what I said about how I feel about raunchy comedy. But here it's like I can go with it because it is just animated so smoothly for what is a dumb gag, and I think it's really funny. And I do think the voice performances are really good. We got a mostly celebrity voice cast, so like I do think everyone does a good job. Like I like Adam Devine as the main dog Bull. He got some funny lines. We also got Idris Elba, Bobby Moynihan, Armisen as like his friends in this film. They're also really good. Catherine Hahn as Honey, Bennett as Sterling, this one douchey show dog, and you got River Gallo as this intersex dog in the film that has a romance with Lucky, one of the Bull's friends, and it's actually done pretty well, you know, right? It's like, you know, not too bad of representation, and it works pretty well in the movie. Those two probably have some of the best moments in the movie. Overall, I do think they are really funny. These are actors who have done funny performances in other stuff, and it's the same here. And another thing about the movie is that it knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to convince you it's anything deeper. It is just a straight up goofy, raunchy comedy. It's silly, it's dumb, and it has fun with itself. It goes like, hey, look, if you can go along with this, I think you'll have a good time. And yeah, I can admit, I did have a good time for the most part. Time to talk about some negatives. Okay, for one, I don't think every joke lands. Like I mentioned this earlier, like there is raunchy comedy in this. While some of the jokes that do involve the animals, like the dogs in this doing like, you know, the sex, can be funny sometimes, and it's not too vulgar. Like you won't see it in excruciating detail. Not as raunchy as like say Fritz the Cat can be. Like still, I don't always vibe with it. Like I'm like, okay, there's like a gag in like the beginning of the film where these two dogs are just doing it in front of like the other dogs at the park, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't really find it all that funny. Sometimes the characters will say things that are like obviously sexual, and like you know, it won't always get the laugh out of me. A lot of the best gags in the movie for me personally come from either the goofy expressions a character could do, some slapstick comedy, and like I said, occasionally when something is just really well animated, like the ending gag, which does lean more towards the raunchy comedy from what specific part of the animal they animate. It's like the way it's animated makes it really funny to me, and that's why I think the animation does enhance a lot of the comedy in a lot of scenes. But for the most part, if it's like, oh, the joke is that I'm seeing Bull's balls, I probably didn't laugh. The thing about this movie is that I remember hearing in an interview Genndy Tartakovsky talking about this movie, is that it was inspired by the male friendships he had and like the importance of those, and he kind of wanted to harken back to like that kind of Judd Apatow era of comedies, like the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, where it would be about like just a group of friends hanging out, and you can see that here. But I feel like that's not really as relevant to the movie as I think it's supposed to be. Bull has friends in this, and they go out and like have a good time before he loses his balls, but that comes in quite later in the film, like in like the second half. Yeah, they are relevant in this movie, like they're in here, they convince him to like hang out with them and stuff, but it also kind of feels like, it's like not the biggest part of the film. Like if anything, the biggest aspect of the film that gets the most attention is Bull's romance with Honey, which I do think has some cute moments in there. Like I think like there's some genuine heart in that romance that I'm like, alright, I liked it. I thought they were cute together. Before I wrap things up, I just want to talk about something else, and that is like how people have been responding to this movie. Mainly people on Twitter, mainly those kinds of people that say animation is cinema, but at the same time when something animated comes out that they don't like, they treat it as if it's like the worst thing ever, and then shame anyone who worked on it or even likes it, and then say like, oh man, that thing should have never existed, but at the same time clamoring for like more animated projects to be released and treated with respect. They kind of like disacknowledge anything animation-wise that they don't like, is what I'm talking about. People have been talking about this movie, and like I have no problem with people not liking the film. I think it's perfectly understandable. Like I genuinely knew this movie was not going to be liked by everyone. I've heard some criticisms about the film, and I've heard people just say, hey, it's not not my thing. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. I personally, I like the movie, or, you know, not everything about it, but I do enjoy the film. But I have heard genuine criticisms for the film and other people saying, it's just not really my thing, or I don't feel like watching it. And I go like, all right, that's perfectly fine. I totally understand that. But I've also been hearing people say that they're upset that this movie even released, you know, right? Like the people who were once going like, oh yes, this movie should be released. Like these big studios should stop like funding these projects and then not releasing them. That's people's hard work. But then go like, ew, no, Fix should have never been released. Ugh. Also, like people saying like, oh man, I feel so sorry for anyone who had to work on this. Oh, that must have been a nightmare experience. And then bullying artists online who have worked on it. Recently, I like joined in a live Q&A from Gendy Tartakovsky for this movie from like a Picture House 401. I don't remember the exact name, but it gave me a lot of insight into like what it was like working on this film for him and his team. And from what I can gather from that and what I've heard online, everyone who worked on this movie had a genuinely good time working on it. They had fun making this silly, dumb comedy. And like, honestly, I can sort of sense that. This movie gives off the vibe of like something that like a bunch of friends made together and just did whatever they thought would be funny. I genuinely like that it has that feeling. And yeah, it's great to hear that the animators in this had a good time. And Gendy had a good time working on this and was really happy to see it released. Some heart was genuinely put into this. Yeah, it's a dumb, silly comedy, but that doesn't mean like, you know, there wasn't some artistry put into it. You can tell that from like the fact that he hired animators that he really wanted to work with, animators he had worked with before. They got to have a good time just like developing this one, the look of it, how it would be animated. This is technically still a movie from an artist. It might not be one that everyone might like, but it is still technically, you know, an artist doing what he wants. That's why it really bothers me when people have been talking about how like this movie is like, not even that it's bad or that they don't like it, that they think that it sucks that this movie even exists at all. Like, look, I think animation is cinema. I want to see more animated movies get respect. But yeah, I would like to see more 2D animated films. I want to see more R-rated movies with mature stories that don't just rely on like sex or raunchy humor as the main like source of comedy, like in a lot of other adult animated projects. And while it does bother me a little bit that, you know, this is Gendy's next big thing, like he's not doing something on the level of like Samurai Jack or Symbiotic Titan or Primal for an animated film, I still am happy that this got made because like I love Gendy. I think it's great that he can just do what he wants. He deserves to, like, if he wants to make a movie that's just purely jokes like, and as ridiculous as this, and I'm like, you know what? He's given us so much cool art. I think he deserves this. Hey, it helps that I do still genuinely like the film. I thought it was funny for the most part. I don't think Gendy is washed, far from it. Like, yeah, sure, I didn't really love Unicorn Warriors Turtles, but I thought it was fine. We still got Primal Season 3 coming up. I hope that's really good. And another Adult Swim project, Zoo Safari, and I'm sure he's gonna keep on making more great art after this. So unless everything after that starts sucking, then I'll start saying that he's washed. But right now, he's not, guys, okay? Just calm down. All right, with that, I will say Fixed. Yeah, I thought it was fun. Yeah, this is my long-winded way of saying I thought it was fun. I don't love everything about this movie, not everything works for me, but I still think, you know, I had a decent time, I had a fun time. It's definitely a movie that's not gonna work for everyone, not everyone's gonna vibe with it, but I'm happy that I kind of vibe with it, you know? Like, I'm in on the joke. Thank you guys for watching this quick play. Man, I really gotta get back to making regular videos.